This weekend, we have the opportunity to talk about one of my favorite topics, love. St. Paul gives us his theology of love in the second reading. He begins by focusing love as the center of who we are and all that we do. He begins saying, if I speak in human and angelic tongues, but I don't have love, then I'm a noisy gong. There's a lot of people making a lot of speeches. They're kind of like noisy gongs. Then he goes on to say, if I know all things, if I comprehend all the mysteries of the world, but I don't love, then I am nothing. Then he speaks to us religious folks, and he says, if I have deep faith, my faith is able to move mountains, and I don't love, then I've missed the whole point of faith and the practice of religion. So what is love? St. Thomas Aquinas offers us a great definition of love. First, there's the love of friendship. That is, loving someone just because they exist, just because they're made by God, and they are somehow in our lives. Then he goes on to fill that out a little bit by saying, love is also love of concupiscence. Love is when we will the good to someone as other. Specifically, when we love a person, we are always affirming some good for that person. Now, it's not, I'm willing my good for other people. That's just egoism. And it's not just doing a whole bunch of nice things for people so that they get to like me. That's also focused on self. Love is willing the good for the other as other. How do you practice this? St. Paul then gives us a litany of possibilities. I'd like to focus in on 5 very quickly. First, he says, love is patient and love is kind. Love always wants the good of the other. And so in our world, we often might hear people who are not very patient. They might say something like, haven't I put up with enough? I'm out of here. I quit. But Paul says love shows compassion. Compassion is suffering with a person, especially when they're not very kind or patient with us. Love is long-suffering. Number 2, love is not jealous. Jealous breeds contempt. If someone is doing a better job than me in something that I'm trying to do, isn't it human nature for us to undermine them, to complain about them, to throw them under the bus in some way? Can I recognize that I'm good at certain things and you're good at certain things? Love rejoices when the other person actually succeeds in what they're doing. It's not a competition. Third, I like this one. Love is not pompous. You ever meet people who are, they're just so full of themselves. They're like peacocks spreading their feathers. Oh, look at me. Look at how wonderful I am. But love is not interested in self-promotion. I actually worry about people who come to me and say, look at how wonderful I am. I could volunteer to do this or that. Now, their intention is good. They want to help another person. But I always wonder in the back of my mind as they rattle off their resume of past successes, why are they volunteering? Are they trying just to show everyone in the world how wonderful they are? Or are they really interested in serving another human being? 4, love is not quick-tempered. It doesn't brood over injuries. It buries the hatchet. It gives the benefit of the doubt to someone. We live in a world in which we love to see other people fail, especially if they're famous people. And the further they fail, the better we like it. It's like we sit in the front row with a big bucket of popcorn, watching the newspaper, the television shows, the gossip columnists, to see who is failing the most these days. That's not love. That's weird. Love forgets injuries. Love moves on. Finally, this is one of my favorites. Love hopes in all things. Love doesn't focus on the privation, meaning love doesn't focus on what's not there. It's not like the inspector general looking into people's lives or certain situations and immediately pointing to that which is lacking or negative, but rather love recognizes the good that is there. It recognizes the positive that is in a situation. More importantly, love recognizes or anticipates what can be there. It's much more optimistic. Love is a wonderful thing. To love people who are made by God and are in our lives somehow. Love willing the good for that person or persons as other. Paul gives us some real basic but fundamental understanding about love. And so I encourage you, love God and love one another. God bless.